Good morning, students. So, this is in continuation of what we have done in the last lecture, where we discussed the liability of medical profession and when will the people belonging to medical profession will not be liable. Now, the situation that existed before the amendment of 2019 was little different to what exists after the amendment of 2019. Now, there are two important questions that we need to understand. First is, what do we understand by the term service, and does this term include services rendered by medical profession or not? The term service was defined in Section 210 of Consumer Protection Act 1986, wherein it was specified that it includes any service that has been rendered of any description but does not include the rendering of any service free of charge under a contract of personal service. But when we talk about the definition of service under Section 42, we can see the conceptual understanding of the term services remains the same. Now the question is as to when we can hold a medical professional liable for any negligence that has taken place. Now, since 1957, after the case of Bolman versus Brain Hospital Management Committee, the thumb rule which has been followed for deciding the case of medical negligence is the Bolman test. The said test can be carried out to ascertain whether a doctor or other medical professionals has breached their duty of care to a patient or not. If a professional who possesses the requisite skill set exercises the skill in a situation with a reasonable degree of caution and care, then the said professional cannot be said to be negligent. The Bolman test says that the standard of care which is required from a medical professional, which should be there, the test is the standard of the originally skilled man exercising and professing to have that special skill. A man need not possess expert skill. It is well established law that it is sufficient if he exercise the ordinary skill of an ordinary competent man exercising that particular article. However, the Bolman test that was laid down was discarded by courts in England in Bolito versus City and Hackney Health Authority. A bench of 5 judges of House of Lords held that the use of these adjectives, that is, responsible, reasonable, and respectable, all show that the court has to be satisfied that the exponents of the body of opinion relied upon can demonstrate that such opinion has a logical basis. In particular, in case involving, as they so often do, the weighing of risk against benefit, the judge, before accepting a body of opinion as being responsible, reasonable, or respectable, will need to be satisfied that in forming their view, the expert have direct their mind to the question of comparative risk and benefits and have reached a defensible conclusion on the matter. To say, thus, when we talk about the Bolito test, we say that it makes it possible to get quick relief as it increases the burden on the medical practitioners and thus leave more scope for compensation. So, unlike Bolman test, the Bolito test says that the court should not accept a defense argument as being reasonable, respectable, or responsible without first assessing whether such opinion is susceptible to logical analysis. However, where there is a body of medical opinion which represents itself as a reasonable, respectable, or responsible, it will be rare for the court to be able to hold such opinion to be other than represented. So the Bolito ruling means the testimony for the medical professional who is alleged to have carried out medical negligence can be found to be unreasonable, although this will only happen in a very small number of cases. So the shift that is there, the Bolito case that has been there has been applied only in few cases in India, and this is the Bolman test also that is being taken up in India time and again in various cases. Well, we need to also understand the another concept, that is the concept of informed consent, in order to set the liability of medical profession. So when we talk about informed consent, it has been stated that that created the rule of reasonable reliance by the claimant on professional judgment of the defendant. So where a person is so placed that other could reasonably rely upon his judgment or his skill or upon his ability to make careful inquiry, and a person takes it upon himself to give information or advice or allow his information or advice to be passed on to another person who, as he knows or should know, will place reliance upon it, then a duty of care will arise. So, where we are talking about this, we are saying that Boltzmann applies to all the acts and omissions constituting diagnosis and consequential treatment. And it is important that there should be communication of diagnosis that is being taken up by the doctors in case of treating any patient, giving advices on both therapeutic and non-therapeutic option for treatment, and disclosure of relevant information that is required to be taken up is are important aspect in order to ensure, in order to establish the liability of the medical profession. So further, when we talk about this aspect, and or in order to set the liability of medical profession, it is also important to understand here the case of Indian Medical Association versus VP Shantha, where the Honorable Supreme Court of India held that the contract between the doctor and the patient was a contract of service and was not a contract of personal service, which implied a relationship between master and servant. The Supreme Court went a step further in holding that person who offered free service in a clinic that required most of the patient to pay would also be governed by this act. So the Consumer Forum, which acts as the quasi-judicial body, has developed to award compensation to the aggrieved party, the main purpose for which it is there. So medical profession can compel the doctors into litigation if they have paid services. However, the onus is on the patient to prove the negligent act, and that they have suffered injuries. So the Honorable Supreme Court in this case has treated that services rendered to a patient by a medical practitioner, except where the doctors render service free of charge to every patient or under a contract of personal service by way of consultation, diagnosis, and treatment. Both medicinal and surgical would fall within the ambit of service as defined under 210 of the Consumer Protection Act of 1986. Therefore, medical practitioners are also liable for deficiency in services under the Consumer Protection Act. It was further stated by the court that the skill of a medical practitioner differ from doctor to doctor. Therefore, a judge can find a doctor guilty only when it is proved that he has fallen short of standard of reasonable medical care. So, not in all the cases medical professionals are held liable. Judges do take into consideration various aspects and facts and circumstances that exist. So when we talk about the aspect, it has been said that only if a reasonable competent professional within the standard skill that the defendant professes to have and acting with ordinary care would not have made the same error. Only in such cases where there is error of judgment that will constitute negligence in order to hold a medical professional liable under the case of medical negligence. White, further in White versus Jordan, it was stated that surgeon committed an error of clinical judgment is wholly ambiguous, for while some such error may be completely consistent with the due exercise of professional skill. So it was stated that he must be judged by the objective standards of a reasonable competent man exercising that skill which is required from the doctors, even though he does not in fact possesses that requisite skill. So it is important to understand that what is it that the standard of care that is required in order to help uh, medical professionals liable under the act. So what the nature of medical professional that existed within the purview of CPA Act is that all kind of services that are rendered by medical professional except the services that are rendered free of charge to all and under contract of personal services comes within the ambit of service under CPA. Contract of personal service cannot be assumed in absence of relationship of master and servant. Hospitals where medical services are rendered free of cost held not to be within the purview, right? Wherever charges are collected from those patients who are able to pay, those hospitals are covered within the act. So this is the provision that existed under CPA Act 1986. However, when we consider this point, one need to keep in mind that a charge of professional negligence against the medical professional stood on a different footing from a charge of negligence against the driver of a motor car. So a doctor was not to be held negligent simply because something went wrong. So this is the reason why time and again national commissions and apex court has decided in various cases that the doctor is not liable for negligence because of someone else of better skill or knowledge would have prescribed a different treatment or operated in different way. He is not guilty of negligence if he has acted in accordance with the practice accepted as proper by a reasonable body of medical profession. And this is what has been stated by the court in Lakshman Balakrishna versus Trimbak case. So when we talk about these aspects, and when we talk about the current act, so we say that what is it that exists now? What is the position that exists now? So the amendment that was introduced in 2019 is mainly to strengthen the consumer rights and to ensure that the consumer justice is dispensed properly. It is to reboost the grievance redressal mechanism with respect to e-commerce, e-governance. But there are other aspects also that are taken up. So a careful perusal is required to reveal that there is still an ample scope of filing cases against the deficiency of healthcare services by aggrieved person for medical negligence and readdressal under the Consumer Protection Act. If we talk about from the standpoint of medical profession, it is worthwhile to inquire that the new law has excluded the healthcare system within the purview of the act. So we can say that what is the current position that is there in 2019 Act is that the government has time and again assured that the said changes in the definition of healthcare will not prevent the consumer in any manner to approach consumer forum in cases of medical negligence or deficiency in health services. So when we talk about the current position, we cannot skip talking about section 2 clause 42 that is on the same line as it was there in the previous act. However, the recent change and deletion of the term healthcare have created panic amongst the general public, since there is an infamous apprehension with respect to the blanket exclusion of healthcare from the definition of services under CPA Act 2019. As in the case with most laws and regulations in India, there is a dire need to frame guidelines to strike a balance between the protection of patients and safeguarding the doctors from undue harassment and humiliation that they face because of such cases. So the government till date has failed to come out with any guidelines with respect to the same, and the most difficult task of striking the balance has been left to the courts to decide whether medical people will be held liable for negligence or not. So thus we can say that the amending law has a seminal bearing on the medical profession and healthcare system, as apparent from the express verbose exclusion of healthcare from the purview of services. So still till now, the position that is there, whether medical professions are excluded or not, it still depends upon case to case basis, and it depends upon the judicial system to decide whether actually the medical negligence has occurred or not. And the different principles that we have discussed in the previous lectures are certain standards that court has taken up in order to decide whether the medical profession should be held liable for any medical negligence or not. Thus we can say that yes, they have not been completely excluded from their liability, but yes, the term healthcare has been excluded from the definition in order to safeguard the interest of medical profession as well. But at the same time, keeping in mind the interest of consumers, it has not been it has not been the doors of for have not been closed for the consumers in case there is any gross negligence that has been done on the part of medical professionals. We talk about the current act, the relief which is said to have been provided to medical professionals by way of a crafty modified definition is nothing but a dilution relief, which definitely will create several doubts and ambiguities in the interpretation of the said provisions. So when we consider the current position, we say that yes, we need to maintain a balance and we need to come out with few guidelines that are required in order to protect the interest of consumers on one hand, and on other hand to maintain the sanctity of the profession, that is medical profession, in order to uphold their sanctity and respect that they share in the society. With this, I would like to end my lecture on Consumer Protection Act and medical profession. Doubts are welcome and they will be answered nicely. Thank you so much.